Hello friends, and welcome to my June wrap-up. I read a lot of books in June. Let's go grab them. Okay guys, all of these books are laid out in front of me, and the way that I know that I have to put these all away after is painful. First things first is we're going to go over my stats for the month, then we will go over the books in the order in which I read them, and then I will let you know which video they are a part of if you want a more in-depth explanation on what the book is about and my thoughts more fresh in the moment of time that I read them, if that makes sense. Because let's get up the stat. Okay, I read 34 books this month, so again, I'm going to let you guys know which video these are in because the books that I read at the beginning of the month, it's been over 30 books since I've read them, so my thoughts may not be as fresh as they were in that moment. But this is so annoying. I read 12,999 pages. Literally, couldn't have been one more. But that's still incredible. My top moods for my books were emotional, which were 18 books. We had 12 tense books, 12 dark books, 11 lighthearted, 11 funny, 10 mysterious, 6 hopeful, 5 reflected, 5 adventurous, 3 sad, and 2 inspiring. I read majority of medium-paced books, 76%, which was 26 books. I read 7 fast books, 21%, and I read 1, I think, slow book. Yeah, 1 slow book, so not too shabby. Page number, again, I almost always read a majority 300 to 500 page books, which was 68%. And then I read 5 books that were over 500 pages, and I read 6 books that were under 300 pages. I read 94% fiction and 6% nonfiction. And my top genres, we had 16 contemporary, or all my genres, I guess, in order of popularity. 15 romance, 9 thriller, 6 mystery, 3 YA, 3 literary, fantasy, 3 crime, 2 LGBTQIA+, 2 sport, 2 memoir, 2 horror, 2 historical, and then 1 of the following: magical realism, short stories, and graphic novel. And then I think this might be my best monthly rating all year of a 3.79. I'm very happy with that. We worked on tons of videos this month. I was really killing it. June is usually my slowest month of the year business-wise, so it provided tons and tons and tons of time for reading. So the first book that I read was for a continuing series I'm in the middle of video, which this video in particular goes up on Sunday. I literally just looked at my upload schedule, so this will be up on Sunday. And the first book I read for that was Dating and Dragons by Christy Boyce. This is book 2 in what they're referring to as a series, the Dungeons and Drama series. My issue is there was no overlap of characters. My hope and prayer is that there's going to be a third book. This is me, like, as a fan writing the next book, you know, Christy, if you want, like, my opinion, which she doesn't because I'm terrible at writing. But it would be really fun because I'm an avid board gamer. I'm an avid D&D player. I think it would be really fun. I also love board game conventions. If a third book would come out and it'd be like the 2 separate D&D groups are going to a convention and they somehow, like, intermingle in some way, but I don't understand how we're calling it a series where it's like the kids don't even go to the same school, because this is YA. They're not a part of the same D&D group, so other than them just both being YA D&D romances, I don't see any connection. However, despite that, I still did start the month off with a bang and gave this 5 stars. I love this series. I do think it is so sweet, it is so cute, and I'm a big fan. Then I read a book for my Reading the Rainbow, which will be is an upcoming video you will see. So some little preview. I did read Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. This was my first ever Annabelle Monaghan book, and this is about our main character Sam, and she is engaged, but her fiance kind of sucks. Her family has this beach town, and they live in New York City, but when they're at the house at the beach, they're more like free and artsy and really like showing who they truly are. And her husband's her fiance's kind of like an asshole about, he's like, I like your parents better in the city when they're less weird. And while she's there, her like childhood flame Wyatt is in town, and this is a book that could very easily fall into like a severe cheating trope, and I don't feel like it did. And I think Annabelle Monaghan did a really good job handling everything, and this book was super short. And I do have one other book by her that I'm very excited to get to. Then for my reading books I bought because of BookTube episode 1, I listened to this one. I know I listened to on audio. I'll let you know if I listened to it on audio. I listened to the audio of Redeeming Six because this book is something. I enjoy the Boys of Tommen series. Don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted, don't think I'm being too much of a hater, because I'm really not. I do like this series. I've given all 4 books that I've read 4 stars, but there's no little minuscule part of me that thinks these books need to be 800 to 1,000 plus pages. It's just ridiculous. In my opinion, they're so long. And so basically, books 1 and 2 are about Shannon and Johnny, and their story about Shannon being severely bullied in school to the point that her family, her mom, wants to send her to this private school. She's the only girl in her family. I think she has like 4 or 5 brothers, and the dad severely abuses all of them, like physically abuses them, and abuses the mom, and essays the mom. That's why she has so many kids, and it's just very sad, very track your trigger warnings type of thing. But the first 2 books are about Shannon, this is the daughter, and this guy Johnny's story. And then these next 2 books, which is Saving Six and Redeeming Six, are about her brother Joey and his girlfriend Aoife and their story, which is fine. I like them way more than I like Johnny and Shannon, but it's like the exact same time period of books 1 and 2, just from Joey and Shannon's, or not, from Joey and Aoife's point of view. And the thing that kept me going in Binding 13 was like the, oh my god, that just happened, what's gonna happen? But like in this, we already know what's gonna happen, so it makes it less engaging to me personally. After that, oh, there's a book I don't actually have for this video, that's fine. I did read Happiness for Beginners by Catherine Center. This was also for the Reading the Rainbow book video, and I did listen to this on audio, and I gave it 3 stars. This is about our main character Helen, and her life is kind of falling apart. And her brother sends her to like this wilderness explorer type thing. I wanted it to be more Survivor, but it was more not. It was not about the adventure course. It was not about surviving in the wilderness. And so I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I also don't like an age gap romance, and that is what that is. I then read Shield of Sparrows for my reading my bestie girl, like me reading my besties pick my reads episode 1 featuring my friend Andrea. She had me read some of her favorites, and I read Shield of Sparrows by Devony Perry. I listened to it on audio actually. That video will be up July 6th and no, July 9th. I don't know. It's coming up. But basically I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It was a romantasy. Only other thing I've read by Devony Perry is Indigo Ridge, and I also gave that 3 stars, so I'm not sure if she's just like a 3-star author for me, but there was that. Then continuing on in the reading books I bought because of BookTube, I read Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is BookTube in the interconnected standalone series of Done and Dusted. This is about Ada and Wes, and basically we're following like all the brothers of this ranch, Rebel Boot Ranch, and I loved it. Live, Laugh, Love, gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. It was exactly what I needed at that moment in time. Then again for that video, I did listen to this one on audio, and that is My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. I gave this 5 stars as well. I absolutely have been eating up this series. I'm so excited for the, I think, 3rd and final book that comes out this October, but the first book is about Cassie and Frederick, and this is Reginald, and this is about Frederick's best friend Reginald. He's a vampire. We've got our main girl Amelia. She is not. There's some fake dating. It's a silly, goofy time. You have to go into it just knowing that it's silly, but it's so fun. It's so fun. Then I read some books for episode 2, which I haven't even edited it yet, of reading my bestie friend's picks. First book I read for that was for my friend Emily's video, was Sharkart by Emily Habak, and I did not like this at all. I gave this 2 stars, and basically this is about Ren and Lewis, and Lewis is turning into a great white shark. And I would love a book with that concept of this dystopian world where people are just like turning into animals. This is something that is happening in this future society, and there's no way to stop it. You just have to deal with it. But this, like, most of this book was like Ren's mom's backstory, and I could not have cared less. Could not have cared less. So I gave that 2 stars, and I do not get the hype. Also, for that video, I did read In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. It's my 3rd book by this author, and the book number 2 in the Love Light Farms series, and I did give this 4 stars. I liked it much better than Love Light Farms. I didn't super vibe with the couple in Love Light Farms, but this is about Beckett and then Evelyn St. James, who comes to Love Light Farms in book 1 to help them with like a social media project, and it's about their love story, and I absolutely ate that up. Then for its own separate video, episode 2 of Reading and Baking, I did read The Strawberry Shortcake Murder by Joanne Fluke. I gave this 3 stars. This is a cozy mystery, book 2 in the Hannah Swenson mystery series. I'm not a cozy mystery person, but the fact that this has like the fun recipes that you can actually make mixed within it is really good. We made in the video Strawberry Shortcake, which was so good. We also made chocolate Highlander cookie bars, which were okay. Then the final book I read for reading Emily's picks was In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros. This is a military romance. I gave it 4 stars. Then for a upcoming Reading Ugly Books video, I did read A Killer's Mind by Mike Omer. This very much so gave kind of Criminal Minds energy. I have a couple of books like that this month. But basically, these women have been being unalived in Chicago, and this girl Zoe, who is part of the forensic psychological team, comes to investigate. It was pretty good. I rated it 4 stars. I would continue the series. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's available on Kindle Unlimited, and you get the audio. So that's super. I love when that's like the case. Then I finally did it, guys. I finally did it. I started the audio for this like a year ago and then gave up. But I decided to push through. And that was, I have listened and completed A Game of Thrones. I'm pretty sure this book is called like A Song of Ice and Fire or something, but it literally does not, or here it is. Book 1 of A Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah, this is A Game of Thrones, and then book 2 is A Clash of Kings. But I did read this, and basically, I don't want to spoil anything, so I don't want to spoil the book or the show, but if you are familiar with the show and have not read the books, this book basically takes you through season 1. And I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it, and I will probably continue. The audio narrator, though, is also painful. He's about 8,000 years old, and he has one of those, like, old people voices that whistles. And sometimes he calls Catelyn Caitlin, and it really bothers me. But the biggest difference between the show and the book is they aged up the characters a lot in the show. Let me see if I can find, I know I looked it up. Ned is 34 in the book, and he's 41 in the show. Catelyn is 33 in the book, 40 in the show. Dany is 13 in the book. If you've seen the show, just know she's 13 in the book, and all of those same things happen. Including the whole, like, horse heart scene. Yeah, I was gagging. And in the show, she's 16. Tyrion is 24 in the book and 32 in the show. Jon Snow is 14 in the book, 16 in the show. Bran is only 7 in the book, where he's 10 in the show. Sansa is 11 in the book and 13 in the show. Arya's 9 in the book and 11 in the show. And those are like the main characters. Also, Brienne of Tarth, she wasn't in this book, but apparently she's like 17 in the book and she's 32 in the show. But I just thought that was very interesting. Very interesting. I also listened really quickly to the audio of Death Row by Frida McFadden. It was book number 1 in this little like Amazon collection, and I gave it 1 star. It was the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and it's like 70 pages, so I'm not going to tell you anything else other than it's so fucking stupid. Then for, I think, episode 3 of YouTube Comments Pick My TBR, we did read Drowning by TJ Newman. This is the 3rd book I've read by this author. And this is this and Falling are the example of you have to give an author more than one chance. If you hate the first book you read by them, try at least one more. Because the first book I read by this author was Best Case Scenario, and I did not like that book. I did not think it was good. And then I read Falling, and I gave that 4 stars. And then I read Drowning, 5 stars. This was so good. I thought about this book all day. Basically, had this dad. He and his wife are in the process of like separating, and he's taking his daughter. They live, I think, in Hawaii, and he's taking her like to the mainland USA. And when their flight starts, something happens and the flight goes down. And it's about them trying to work together. The mom works like with the rescue forces, so it's like them all kind of coming together to save the day, and it was so good. And I did listen to that on audio. Also on audio, I listened to The Broken Girls by Simone St. James, and I gave this 4 stars. This is for the Ugly Books video. And yeah, I quite enjoyed this. It's 2 timelines, the 1950s and the 2024. In the 1950s, there is this school for the bad kids, the bad girls. They go there because their parents don't really feel like dealing with them. Whether they are like illegitimate children, troublemakers, too smart for their own good. They go to Idlewild Hall to like get better or like to go to school there until one day one of them just disappears and they think she ran away. Then we have 2014 and we have our main girl Fiona, and her sister died and her body was found at this school. Now this school's been purchased and being renovated, and she's trying to look into the history of what happened there, and it's spooky and it was really good, and I do want to pick up more from Simone St. James, so if you have any recommendations, let me know. Then I listened to this book. It is Jeremy Renner's memoir called My Next Breath, a memoir. And if you don't know, Jeremy Renner is, to me, I feel like with actors, there's like who they are to you. To me, he's Hawkeye, for sure. And it's his story about how he got into this really bad accident and he was like basically run over. And it was wild times. Then I read my most anticipated release of the year, With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. This actually got selected as our July book club pick. So if you do want to join book club, this is what's being read. I've already read it, so I'm going to go through on Fable and put my thoughts in all of the chapters. I'm going to read through my tabs for each chapter and put my thoughts in there. And I did give it 4 stars. I really liked it. I don't really know why it's being hated on so much. I loved the main character, Anna. I thought she was so, like, she was good shit. I was a big fan. I liked it. I'm also a little bit biased when it comes to Riley Sager, and I can admit that. Then I listened to this next book, Well Met, on audio. This was for my YouTube comments pick my TBR video that's coming up, and I gave this 4 stars. I'm very excited to continue this series. This whole series takes place at like a Renaissance fair, but in this one we have our main character, Emily. Her sister had surgery and she's basically moving in to help take care of her daughter. She gets roped in to working at the Ren Fair, and it goes from there, and I thought it was really good. And it's a 4-book series. Then I read book club for last month, which was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I gave this like a reluctant 3 stars. It was really probably more of a 2, but I'm biased towards Emily Henry, so I gave it a 3. This book was not good. We had our main character, Alice, and she and this guy Hayden are basically fighting it out to get this opportunity to write this woman Margaret's autobiography. I feel like I've heard so much about this book that I literally don't even want to talk about it anymore. And then we get this whole like story about Margaret's family, which was boring as fuck. I thought the couple had no chemistry. When they started doing their love declarations, I'm like, what? It wasn't very good. Moving on. The next book I'm reading for, I think it's going to be episode 3 of my friend's Pick My Reads, and it's my friend Christy's pick, and she picked this book. It's called Sandwich by Catherine Newman. This is a short book, and it talks so much about menopause, and as somebody who knows absolutely nothing about menopause, because my mom literally died before she went through menopause, I'm scared. I'm like actually terrified, but basically it's about our main character Rocky, I think. Yeah, Rocky. And listen to this on audio, and she and her family are going on their like yearly vacation to Cape Cod, and her parents are coming, and basically she's sandwiched in the middle between her aging parents and her children, who no longer like need her as much as they did when they were younger. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. I don't think I'll probably ever think about it again, but it was fine while I listened to it. Then I read my 3rd Julie Soto book somehow in the last 3 months, because I read the music one at the end of last month as well as the fantasy one, but This one's been my favorite. This was 4 stars, and this is about our Ouramma, I think was her name, our main character Ouramma, and she's a wedding planner who doesn't really believe in weddings because her mom's been married 16 times. And then we have Elliot. He is a florist. They have kind of like a past together, and through the book we're getting present timeline and Alma's point of view and past timeline and Elliot's point of view, kind of figuring out what drove them apart and what will bring them together, baby. It was really cute. 4 stars. Then I listened to this on audio, and this was gonna be, oh my god, I just literally folded the cover of one of my books. Oh my god, it's all good. Actually, I flattened it out good enough. This is gonna be for Kirsten's episode of Friends Pick My Read, and this was Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and I did give this 4 stars. I'm not a huge, like, vampire book person, so the fact that I gave it 4 stars is actually kind of impressive. Then on audio, I listened, this is the book I just folded in half, The Fourth Monkey Killer. This is going to be for episode 2 of books I bought because of BookTube. Basically, this is like such a fun concept, and I'm very excited to continue on. Basically, there's this notorious repeat unaliver, okay? And he's referred to as the Fourth Monkey Killer or the 4MK. And basically, you guys know those like monkeys that are like... So that's kind of like the vibes of this guy. He's kind of a vigilante because he's going after people he's deemed as bad, but instead of attacking them, he takes one of their loved ones, usually their daughter, and he will first send them their ear. Hear no evil. And they're like, turn yourself in. And then if they don't, they get an eyeball. See no evil. Then if they don't turn themselves in, their tongue. Speak no evil. And then if they still don't, they get the whole dead body. For do no evil. And this is basically about the crime scene people like trying to figure out what happened, because this guy in chapter 1 gets hit by that like is an ear, and they're like, where's the missing girl? So that was really good. I gave it 4 stars. Then also for that same video, I read this graphic novel, The Magic Fish. This is super, super good. I like think everybody should read it. And when I bought it, it was on sale for $8 on Amazon. And I don't think I've ever been so like stunned by beautiful art in a graphic novel than like in this book. Let me see if I can find a really good example. Yeah, like it's just stunning. So in this, we have our main character, Tien, and he is a young boy who is struggling with his sexuality, and he goes to a religious school. His family is Vietnamese, and he doesn't really know how to tell them that he is gay in Vietnamese. And so he's reading all these different fairy tales to his mom, and it was so tender, and I gave that 5 stars. Then for my 5-star predictions video, I read The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and this was in fact 5 stars. This is about our main character, what's her name, Lenny? Yeah, Lenny, and she and her family are going through it. Her dad was a prisoner of war in the Vietnam War, and he came back a very different man, a very angry man who's struggling severely with PTSD. It does not excuse his behavior because he's like beating the shit out of his family, but they end up moving to Alaska, and things just keep getting worse. So it was really sad, as Kristen Hanna books tend to be. Then for Kirsten's video, I listened to the audio Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I gave this 4 stars. I love the like little pink spray etches. It was so corny, but like in a good way. Like I enjoyed it. There's about 8,000 Taylor Swift references, so if that's something that's gonna bother you, don't pick it up. But we have got our main character Bailey, and then our guy is Charlie, and he makes a bet with her that boys and girls can't be just friends. She takes him up on that bet, but he secretly also made a bet that he like could get her. And so it was cute little YA romance, you know. There's nothing too fabulous that really goes on in a YA romance. Then for my ugly books, I did in fact read Want to Know a Secret by Frida McFadden. I gave this 3 stars. It was literally the epitome of fine. Our main character April is a YouTube baking sensation. One day she gets a text that's like, your son's not like where you think he is, and basically somebody has found out about something that she's been keeping a secret and is like blackmailing her. It was like, again, it was fine. 3 stars. Another fine book, We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. This is one of his older books, like pre-pandemic, so I think I don't want to make sure I'm not lying. Yeah, 2018. So it's like a 7-year-old book at this point, and I think that like I just prefer his new work. It was 3 stars. It's basically about this band that sold their souls to the devil but didn't know it. Then for my 5-star predictions, I did read From Luke Off with Love by Mariana Zapata. Again, 5 stars. Loved it, loved it, loved it. This woman can do no wrong. This is about our main character, Jasmine, and she wants so desperately to be a like medal-winning figure skater, and the opportunity comes for her to be partners with this guy, Ivan Lukov, whose family owns the gym that she's been training at, or like rink. And you see where that goes, because they are kind of frenemies. Also for that video, I read The Library of Borrowed Hearts, which unfortunately I did give 2 stars. I did not like this book at all, and it was just so boring. The premise of it is really good. We have like a bunch of different point of views. We have our main girl, Chloe, and she works at a library, and she finds like these old books that have basically like love letters written in the margins, and then we get like this past timeline about what's going on with these people who wrote the stuff in the margins. But I could not care less about that past timeline. It was just painful. Painful. Then for Christy's video, it's the next 3 books and the 3 final books. I read The Gungle by Stephen Rowley, and this was super duper duper cute. I'm excited to get into the second one. This is about our guy Pat, and he is a gay man, and he was an actor, and his best friend married his brother. His like girl best friend married his brother, and then she dies in the beginning. And his brother is dealing with like an addiction that he developed while helping care for his sick wife. He's now addicted to pills, and he needs to go to rehab so he can be there for his kids. So he wants Patrick to take care of them for the summer. And it's really about like dealing with that grief, because Patrick also not only lost his best friend, but he had like years ago lost his romantic partner, and he never really properly grieved that. So it's so much about that, and had so much heart, and I really loved it. Then, oh my god, I read I'm That Girl. I listened to the audio. This is Jordan Child's autobiography, and this was so good. This is literally about how at this past Paris Olympics, basically, well, it talks a lot about racism in the sport of gymnastics, which is just very important to have like a black woman speaking about that. And then also, she talks about how at this last Paris Olympics, basically, you learn like a lot that I didn't know about the Olympics. Whenever you get your final score, you're not supposed to celebrate it, because your coach has time to put in like an inquiry. And whenever she got her score, she was like in 5th place. Her coach put in an inquiry, and there's video footage of her doing this in this Netflix docuseries about Simone. And then the like Russian team, and so basically they reviewed it, and then Jordan got 3rd place. Then the Russians basically, like, after the medals have already been given, were like, oh, they put it in too late, and like take them to court to try to basically strip Jordan of her medal. And it was a very good memoir. And then last but not least, I finished this yesterday. This is Kill For Me, Kill For You by Steve Kavanaugh, and I gave this 2 stars. I did not think that this was shocking at all. Like, this has really good ratings, like a 4 point something, and I gave it a 2. As soon as like you were able to maybe guess what was going on, I guessed it. And so I was just not impressed. Not impressed at all. But that is everything, guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you've read any of these books, let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!